In today's lesson, we're going to learn the notes of the D string, how to tune the D string, playing hot cross buns on the D string, and at the very end of the video, the D major scale. Stay tuned! Welcome to the studio. My name is Cassie, and I'm a professional violist and teaching artist. I hope these videos will serve as a guide for those of you who are just starting to learn the viola or even for more experienced players. So today's topic is all about the notes on the D string. So last lesson we learned the notes of the A string and what our left hand fingers do, and we just reviewed a little bit of posture things. So let's kind of do the same thing for the D string. So we're going to learn the notes on the D string first, and just like we learned how to tune the A string, we're going to learn how to tune the D string. So I'm going to use my fine tuners and kind of untune the D string. And if you'll remember, the fine tuners are down here on your tailpiece and they're just screws. So if I go clockwise, that makes the note higher. If I go counterclockwise, that makes the note lower. So I'm going to pluck my D, and it's just a little low. So I'm going to take my fine tuner and turn it a little bit clockwise, so maybe a twist. And I'm going to check that again. Not quite there, it's a little under, so I'll give it another twist. That's closer. And just a reminder, just like on A, if the note was too high, it would read A sharp or B. If it was too low, it would read G or G sharp. For the D string, if it's too high, it will read D sharp or E. If it's too low, it will read C sharp or C. So you're going to have to use your fine tuner to adjust accordingly. So now that our D string is in tune, we're going to learn what the four fingers are called on the D string. So if I put my first finger down, it's E. High second finger, so not touching one, is F sharp. Third finger, which does touch second finger, is G. So first finger is E, F sharp, G, and then pinky would be A, just like our open A string. So let's find rest position, go to playing position, slide our hand down to first position. Remember, that's not directly touching the peg box, it's a little bit above. And it would be really great if you still had your tuner to kind of check with your first finger. Is my first finger registering an E or an E flat? If it says E flat, you have to scoot your hand up a little bit to find E. So now that we're in playing position, I'm going to take my elbow and swing it under my instrument to get my fingers on the fingertips. And it's really important, now that we're on a lower string, to have your fingers on the tips, because if my fingers are flat, they're going to be touching the A string and creating a different note, and we don't want that. So my elbow's swung under. I'm making sure that my thumb is tapped and released on the side. I've got a nice straight wrist, and I'm going to put my first finger down, squish into that marshmallow, and pluck E 3 times. Same thing with second finger, F sharp, squish into that marshmallow, and it's not touching our first finger. Let's pluck that one. And then last is our third finger, G. So hopefully that is similar to what we did on the A string, right? We just put one finger down after the other, and it's the same exact finger pattern. So 1 doesn't touch 2, and 2 does touch 3. So let's do that again. Playing position, slide down to first position, tap your thumb, straight wrist, squish that first finger into the string, and let's pluck E. High to F sharp, touching third finger G. And then same idea for fourth finger, it does not touch the third finger. So just like we did in the A string, fourth finger will not touch. And you can check with your open A. If you can pluck fourth finger and open A, and it sounds the same, you've placed your finger correctly. Now if your finger is flat, if you've gone down on the flats of the fingers as opposed to the tips, listen to what happens. I'm getting that really weird sound on the A string, so that tells me my fingers are not on the tips, they're a little bit too flat, so I gotta swing my elbow underneath to get them in the correct position. And everybody's body is different, so what I may need to adjust to be on the D string might not be what you need to do to adjust. So just take note that as long as you're on the fingertips, you're in the right spot. So now that we know those D string notes a little bit better, let's do hot cross buns, but on the D string. So it's the same exact fingers, it's just different note names. So playing position, slide down to first position and place high 2 F sharp, not C sharp like on the A string, but F sharp. First finger was E and open D. Plop 2 for F sharp, ready, go. First finger E, open D. Now we need 4 Ds. 4 E's, F sharp 2. 1, E, open D. So I mentioned in the last video that you could use the same fingers or the same finger pattern on any string and it will still be Hot Cross Buns. So if you want to explore our lower 2 strings, the C string and the G string, to play Hot Cross Buns on those, you can use the same exact fingers. So now that we're comfortable with Hot Cross Buns, we're going to learn one of the essentials for any musician, which is scales. And I used to hate scales when I was little. I didn't see the point in them, but they're kind of the building blocks of music. So let's go to playing position, slide down to first position, and we're going to start on open D because we're playing the D major scale. And that just means starting on D, we're going to play a major scale pattern. So open D, followed by first finger E, fingertip, high 2 F sharp, touching 3 G. Now I'm going to clear my fingers away and go to the A string. First finger B, second finger C sharp, and third finger D. And again, I can use this same finger pattern on any string and get a different major scale. Major meaning like the happy sounding one, not minor, the sad sounding one. So once we know that scale, we've got 8 notes. And with those 8 notes, we can play so many songs, hundreds of songs, probably any pop song that you hear on the radio today. So let's find playing position again. Slide down to first position, tap your thumb, make sure your elbow swung under the instrument, straight wrist, and we're going to do that D major scale once again. So starting on open D, first finger E, high 2 F sharp, touching 3, open A, B, C sharp, and then third finger D. Now let's try the same thing in reverse. So we're going to start with 3 fingers on the A string, which think to yourself, what note is that? Then 2 fingers on the A string, 1 finger, and then open A. So we're going alphabet in reverse. So 3 fingers on the A string, plop them on the tips, straight wrist, thumb tapped, and let's begin. Third finger, C sharp, B, open A, swing that elbow, plop 3 fingers, so no climbing up, plop them, fingertips, G, F sharp, first finger E, and open D. So now that we know the notes on the D string and the notes on the A string, we've learned one finger pattern, which is the 2-3 pattern. So we say where our fingers touch, that's where we are identifying as the pattern. And where my fingers touch is called a half step. So that's the smallest musical interval. Where my fingers don't touch, that's a whole step. So we've got a scale that's comprised of whole steps and half steps where the fingers do touch. So I hope that's clear. If you have any questions about that, or there's a song that now you've got the 8 notes that you really want to learn, please comment below so that I can do a tutorial on that. In our next lesson, we are finally getting to the bow. Happy days, so exciting. So a lot of my beginners, they really don't like plucking because it doesn't sound like the instrument is supposed to sound like. But I think it's really important that we solidify our left hand so that when the bow comes around, we're not having to think about too many things at once. So I really thank you for joining me today. I hope you're enjoying your lessons and making progress. And as always, if you have any questions, please comment below and let me know. And I'll see you at our next lesson.